Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I went from, I can't do this, like I just can't do this. I am an atheist. First video of the rest of my life. You know what this feels like? This feels like when you're constipated and you just like finally take the biggest shit of your life. Welcome to my channel, everyone who's here. This is the first video where I'm going to be talking about being an atheist. Those words have been locked up inside of me for so long. When I say the word, it triggers the young girl who was brought up to think that that word was related to something really bad. I've been a nurse for going on 10 years, and I've known that I was an atheist since I was about 20. I'm over 40 now, so it's been over 20 years. I grew up in a community surrounded with people that are believers, and some are extremely devout and some are just kind of, you know, it's kind of the default for them. But what is constant is thanking God for blessings. I hear that over and over. It's like two lives. I lived a life of seeing friends and family thank God for their blessings and ask God for different prayers, different things they ask God for. And then I go to my hospital and I see families begging for God's mercy and for a miracle and for God to save their child or to save their brother. And more times than not, I see those prayers go unanswered. I come from an ICU background. I've probably seen more death than most people will see in a lifetime. The number of prayers that I've seen go unanswered, it's hard not to feel something. I understand theories such as things happen for a reason, things happen in mysterious ways, God has a bigger plan that we won't be able to understand, but we need to trust in Him. And then when I have patients that come in that are, you know, succumb to their injuries due to another person's harm, religious people will give me the reason of something like free will. When I look at these people dying, when I watch these people taking their last breath, and I see the amount of pain and desperation they're in, there's something that physically won't allow me to think that an all-loving God would allow that to ever be part of a master plan. There's just no part of me that can imagine that some people would have to go out the way that I've seen people go out as part of a plan. And when there are children dying of cancer, and then the child next door survives cancer, and the parents give all glory to God and give God the credit for that. I don't understand why God would choose one over the other. I think to say that you are blessed because God has stepped in and saved your child when the patient right next to you didn't survive. I just can't imagine what that feels like when someone is saying that God chose to save their child. God stepped in for their child, but didn't step in for this person's child. If there is an omnipotent God, an all-loving God, I just don't see where there's a purpose for that. It will never make sense to me. And to see people raped and violated that succumb to their injuries, even saying free will, if he's all-knowing, he also knew what free will would lead to, right? He knows what some people would do with free will. I look at my religious stance in the hospital. Nobody knows that I'm an atheist. Why does nobody know? Because I don't want to deal with how people might view me. I am the nurse in the hospital that is known for fighting for her patients, families. People see how hard I fight. I fight so hard for my patients, I've lost my job for it. I started at Cedars-Sinai as an oncology nurse, and I noticed things I didn't like at all about how certain patients were being treated, non-English speaking patients. I spoke up when no one else would, and I became a target after that. I've always been that person. That it's not that I'm brave enough. I just can't not do it with my colleagues in the hospital. Although they know me and they know that I go above and beyond for my patients, hearing the word atheist does something to people. And I have a couple that do know that I'm an atheist. I knew that they would be okay with it. I could tell by their non-judgmental personality that they wouldn't judge me. I hold people like that so close. I cherish relationships with very few religious friends that know my stance and accept me just as I am. And when I say accept me just as I am, I mean accept me without the, oh, this is a phase. Oh, you're lost. Oh, I'll pray for you. It's just they accept me. There's no anticipation that I'm in some phase, because the phase that I've been in for the last 23 years is hiding out of fear of being judged. And I can't do it anymore. It's to the point where I have betrayed myself for so long that nothing is fulfilling anymore. I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like this must be what it feels like to be gay and come out of the closet, because the fear you have of being judged when you know the judgment doesn't at all represent your true heart. I can continue being known as this empathetic nurse that fights to the death for her patients. I am that nurse, but there is a huge part of me that I just feel like a fraud. I feel like a fraud, and it's the only thing I'm afraid of. Me being the one that usually is the one that isn't afraid to speak up, this is the one thing that has been the hardest thing to come out with. Being a Black woman in our society and being a successful Black woman, I have dealt with my share of racism and sexism, and I've never taken those things personally because I understand where it comes from. And I also know that it's just as sensitive as I can be. I have limited spots of things that I can stress over, and I don't choose to let those be one of them, because seeing myself as a victim has never worked out, and I've never felt like that has gotten me anywhere. So I usually just brush it off and keep moving. But with religion, I don't think I ever believed in anything. I consciously knew it was kind of downloaded into me when I was growing up. Once I implied that I had questions about faith back when I was a teenager, people that have always treated me with kindness and gentleness and love. It was the transition I saw in them that really bothered me. That was the start of my journey into asking more questions. I'll have future videos where I talk more about the reasons for me losing my faith. It was a long, long road. Because this is a kind of a Christian-leaning society, things like atheism, I've had this fear that it has the potential to hurt me. So there's this part of me feeling like the best thing to do is just, you don't have to deny it, but just don't mention it. Don't bring it up. But as I try to progress in my business ventures, I'm trying to start a business. There's a part of me that's like, what if people find out? I'm very capable of making sure they don't find out. But is that what I want? Like, do I want to hide this? Do I want to start the next chapter of my life hiding this for another 23 years? This decision to let everything out, I kind of danced around it for a long time. I thought of ways I could say it that were more gentle, non-believer, non-theist, non-religious person, and just dancing around what I actually am, which is an atheist. Or you could say what I'm not. The real definition is simply the absence of belief in deities. There is no more, there is no less. It's just the absence of belief. Does that mean if God knocked on my door, I wouldn't believe it? No, it does not mean that. It just means as I am today, I feel as though the closest thing to God is what is within me, what is in nature. What do I believe in? I believe in love. I don't know why I'm holding scissors right now, but what do I believe in? I believe in love. I believe in honesty. I believe in truth. I believe in doing the right thing. And for me, that's enough. I don't see any reason for me to be ashamed of who I am. I'm nobody to anyone watching this, but to me, I know that nothing is worth it unless I can be my true, authentic self. If a label changes that, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to let this out. It's almost like I don't have a choice because part of me is dying inside. It is a rebirth, ironically. I know that if I'm afraid to say it, there has to be a world of people that are afraid to let this out. We all have something. More than anything, I want to empower everyone to be your authentic self, no matter what. Even if you lose everyone at first, the right people will stay in your life, the right people will find you, and the people that are not meant for you will wash away. Trying to always be accepted, trying to always be nice, trying to always be positive is to be irrelevant. You have to take the chance. There are going to be people that hate you for it. What the hell? Let it out. Be your authentic self, and the rest will work itself out.